Are you just starting out in cosplay or costuming or sewing in general and you need some supplies but not quite sure where to start? Then I've got you covered. Today I'm going to give you 5 things that I would suggest you get when you're just starting out. Today's video was actually suggested to me by Ashley Warner, who left a little comment on my community tab. So thank you, Ashley. I hope that this video is going to help. In her comment, Ashley asked what kind of supplies would I recommend for a newbie. I can understand that it gets quite overwhelming when you see everything, when you walk into a Spotlight or Joann's or whatever store it is that you're walking into and you just see, oh, material and sewing machines and zippers and buttons and beads and diamantes and everything else, right? Well, let's simplify it and kind of peel back the layers a little bit. So the first tool that I would say is pretty much needed very quickly is a sewing machine. Now let's get real. It can be a bit of an investment, but the good news is that you don't have to go and spend your money on a really top-end, beautiful sewing machine. Not until you know that you really like this. The sewing machine that is in the thumbnail of this video is actually a machine that I bought for my husband so that he could test out sewing and costuming. And it cost me $100 Australian when it was on special from Spotlight. But even then, just have a look and see if someone's selling a sewing machine secondhand. There's plenty of them. And even if that's too expensive, just ask around. Maybe a relative or a friend has a spare sewing machine that they can lend to you. Supply number 2 is patterns. Nobody expects you to draft patterns from scratch when you're first starting out. That's just crazy talk in my opinion. It would be like trying to get someone to go and play head chef in a restaurant and they've never been in the kitchen before. Go and find a commercial pattern. I'd even try to find a pattern that says very easy or easy on it to start off with, just so you get an understanding of the basics. And then when it comes time that you want to make a more complex costume or cosplay, what you can do is find a pattern that has a similar silhouette as what you're trying to create. The 2 S's that I use when trying to find a commercial pattern to maybe help me out with a project, even to this day, is silhouette and seam lines. Find a pattern that has a similar silhouette and has seam lines in the areas that you roughly need them and go from there. Supply number 3, fabric scissors. Paper scissors are just not going to cut it, so don't shoot yourself in the foot before you even pass go. And you don't have to get the really expensive sort. You can get packs of 3 or 5 different fabric scissors and they can be quite cheap. I think in Spotlight, which is obviously the Australian store that I use, I think they're like $20 for a pack of 5 or something. It's very affordable. Supply number 4 is poplin, broadcloth, or cotton in general. Fabric choice is really important when you're first starting off, and I would say steer away from stretch fabrics when you're first starting. Just when you're first starting, until you grasp how to use the sewing machine and you feel confident, don't get anything with stretch. Because I can tell you right now, stretch fabric aims to misbehave. Why I say poplin or broadcloth or even some cottons is because usually there's a good range of colours that you can choose from, plus also it's relatively cheap. So if you muck up, no great loss. And then when you progress to more fancy fabrics, you can always use the excess poplin or broadcloth for your mock-ups. And supply number 5 that I would recommend is getting a basic sewing kit. In a basic sewing kit, they have things like a measuring tape, pins, needles, basic thread, thread cutters, little things like that, which will make your life really easy. Though I would say, if you want to spend a few extra dollars, do get some glass head pins because they will make your life easier when you're pinning fabric. Anyway guys, those are the 5 supplies that I would recommend for a newbie if they're getting into sewing. If you've got any others, please leave them in the comments below. Also, if you've got any video ideas you would like to run past me, leave those in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you all next time. Bye! It's not about me, it's about you. G'day everyone, welcome back to another catch up with Beerly. So yes, come with me, oh newbie.